Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the March 26th edition of Carolina Week, campus safety is on all of our minds. One student is taking action.
One group is tired of the trash and pollution. See how they're fighting back.
Does all the hype about the Davidson basketball team extend to its baseball team?
Weathercaster Corey Davis will tell us if the warm weather is here to stay.
All that and some heavy metal on paper. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Adam Rue.
And I'm Sarah Huffman. Thank you for joining us.
The student body president usually delivers UNC's State of the University address. UNC Vice President Mike Tarrant delivered this year's address to about 30 members of Student Congress last night because of the tragic death of Eve Carson. The purpose of the annual address is to update faculty, staff, and students about student government's progress. He says that under Carson's leadership, student government has made progress, especially with tuition increases. Do you feel safe walking through campus? There are many ways to protect ourselves, and one that's gaining popularity across the country is more drastic than others.
In the wake of the recent tragic death of student body president Eve Carson, campus safety has become a primary concern for students at UNC. For senior Aaron Stitzel, it's a time to take action.
I went home recently and began the application process for obtaining a concealed weapon permit. Just hit so close to home, being on our campus and knowing that it could be any one of my friends or myself, and just disbelief that something like that could happen.
It's illegal to carry concealed weaponry at UNC, but other traumatic shootings on college campuses such as Northern Illinois and Virginia Tech have students rethinking their safety. Students for Concealed Carry on Campus, or SCCC, is a group that has received national attention for its efforts to push legislation that allows concealed weaponry on college campuses. In February, the UNC chapter of SCCC celebrated a step forward when the North Carolina Student Legislature passed a resolution to support concealed carry on college campuses in North Carolina. If a bill presented by the SCCC about how to implement this process passes at the annual session, it will be in a form that the North Carolina General Assembly can directly debate and vote on. But there are still many students who wouldn't be comfortable with this type of action.
I don't think there's any benefit to it at all whatsoever.
I don't know, I don't think about it. It's just my life. It's regular day-to-day, whatever. It's just when events like the other week happen, you start questioning your safety. So
Utah and Colorado already allow concealed carry on college campuses, and several other states have similar legislation up for discussion. Could North Carolina be next? Stitzel believes that concealed carry could only benefit his safety and the safety of others.
I don't think it would make them worse just because of the processes you have to go through to actually obtain the handgun and be able to carry it in such a way. I think, if anything, it may make them safer. I think it's appropriate to make sure that law-abiding citizens have that right.
The North Carolina Student Legislature's annual assembly is next month, and the group will consider the proposal then. If you were on campus to about noon today, you might have heard a strange sound. The UNC Department of Public Safety tested the new siren alert system.
Attention! This is an alert to Carolina.
The alarm would sound to warn students if there's a dangerous person on campus, a chemical spill, or a tornado. Officials alerted students about the test through emails and the texting system, so most weren't surprised by the noise. Senior Danielle Shapiro heard the alarm in the pit and thinks DPS should set up more of the siren towers.
I feel like they should have one up on North Campus because I don't think people up on North Campus would be able to hear it. The alarm was loud enough, but when the guy was talking after, like to say this is just a test or all clear, you couldn't really understand him, so that could be a little bit clearer.
Siren alerts are becoming more common. NC State tested a similar system during spring break.
The two men charged with Eve Carson's murder were supposed to be in court Monday, but the hearing didn't happen. Attorneys for Demario James Atwater and Lawrence Alvin Lovett Jr. decided not to ask a judge to change the bonds set for the pair. Atwater's being held without bond, while Lovett is in jail in lieu of $3 million bond. Both men are expected to be back in court on Monday to be indicted on first-degree murder charges. Their next possible court date would be in late April. Durham residents are continuing to remember slain Duke graduate student Abhijit Mahato. The Religious Coalition for a Nonviolent Durham coordinated a vigil outside the Anderson apartment complex where Mahato was murdered in January. People held candles and heard several members of the community speak about Mahato's life as a student and as a friend. Vigil coordinator Anna Lee Mosley wants participants to not only remember Mahato's life, but also to make a positive impact in Durham.
I want people to take away hope, and I want people to take away the notion that it's within us. You have to internalize what happened and then give back to the community.
About 100 people participated in the vigil, including Duke students and faculty members. Our campus is very conscious of helping protect the environment. Recent efforts have involved water and power conservation, and now students can have an impact beyond campus. Our Monica Gibbs is at the University Power Plant with more. Monica?
Environment North Carolina, an organization that focuses on protecting North Carolina from air and water pollution, is reaching out to students for help. Protecting North Carolina's environment by speaking out and taking action to improve our state's water and air quality is the organization's goal. Waste from landfills, animal farms, and other pollutants threaten our rivers, lakes, and streams. Chris McCallick, Environment North Carolina's Citizen Outreach Director, says students can lend a hand.
But then you can volunteer as a member after that, attending our various workshops that we have, getting involved by writing letters to the editor, to your local papers, or actually getting on the phone with your elected officials to speak your mind.
The organization also says that along with cars, most power plants are a large source of air pollution. However, UNC's cogeneration plant is one of the best of its kind. UNC Energy Services Director Raymond Ubose explains why.
In a coal-fired Duke Energy plant, for example, about 2/3 of the coal of the energy in coal is waste. Only 1/3 of the energy in the coal goes into the production of electricity, comes out in the form of electricity. In our case, 1/3 is only 1/3 is waste.
UNC's cogeneration plant has won numerous awards from both the EPA and Energy Star.
Monica, what makes UNC's power plant more environmentally friendly than others?
Adam, this plant makes two kinds of energy at once. It makes steam and electricity, so it's twice as efficient.
All right, Monica Gibbs at the University Power Plant, thank you. Well, what if men weren't allowed on the treadmills?
Coming up, we'll tell you what Carolina students think about segregated gyms.
Hello. Yes. Can I ask a few questions about the apartment on Park Street?
What was your name?
My name is Juan Hernandez.
It's been rented.
Oh, it's gone. Hello, my name is Sanjay Kumar. I am calling about the apartment on Park Street.
It's not available.
Not available?
Hello, my name is Tyrone Washington. I'm calling about the apartment on Park Street.
Just been rented.
Hello, I am Chen Ling. My name is Khalid bin Ali. I'm Tuan Vo.
Hello, my name is Moshe Goldberg.
I use a wheelchair. It's gone. Not available. All right. Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name is Graham Wellington. I'm calling about the apartment for rent on Park Street. Is that still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Really?
Housing discrimination is illegal. If you think you've been a victim because of your race, color, national origin, sex, religion, disability, or family status, call us. Fair housing. It's not an option. It's the law.
People working in the green industry are asking state and local officials to ease up on water restrictions. Some fear continued restrictions could dry up their jobs. Josh Ellis reports.
Potting display plants, all part of the daily routine for Crystal Barnes. She works as the greenhouse assistant manager for a local nursery in Raleigh. But when city leaders put stage 2 water restrictions in place, workers in the state's green industry took notice.
It could get to the point that I'm not needed here anymore. And if that's the case, then I'm out of a job.
It's the time of year when people are normally picking out which colorful additions they want for their garden. but lingering concerns about water restrictions is leaving some greenhouses a bit empty this spring.
Customers have been losing a lot of plants, not even looking at their lawn yet, but the plants themselves they've been losing to the drought. They just can't necessarily water them.
The law requires me as governor or any governor to wait until there is a public health and safety emergency before we can declare an emergency. And the problem is it's difficult to understand exactly when that occurs. You certainly don't want to wait until you run out of water.
Likewise, Easley believes it may be necessary to impose year-round limits on outdoor watering. In the meantime, nurseries will rely on collection ponds and wells to keep their plants growing. Crystal Barnes says they'll also give customers more conservation-friendly tips, like using rain barrels and drought-resistant plants.
We're going to give them any idea that we possibly can to make sure that they can continue to garden.
After all, she's counting on a long-term solution that keeps the green industry growing.
As a single mom, trying to raise 2 kids by myself, this is the only thing I've really ever done in my life and the only thing I really want to do.
In Raleigh, this is Josh Ellis, Carolina Week.
Because of the impact the drought has already had, the state is making loans available to small businesses in the green industry. University Lake is now only slightly below full and just in time for spring weather. The lake officially reopened for public recreation this Saturday. People spent the day boating with their friends, fishing on the lake, and hanging out in the grass. OWASA rents out boats, canoes, and fishing equipment for an hourly fee. University Lake also has picnic tables, a running trail, and a pier for people to enjoy. The lake is open 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday until the beginning of November.
What if some recreational opportunities weren't available because of your sex? Sam Johnson has that story.
Campus gym is usually a place for both men and women to work out. But recently Harvard has passed women-only gym hours at one of their recreation facilities. The change was prompted by Harvard's Muslim population, who wanted the gym to be restricted to women during certain hours. Yasmin Amir, a member of UNC's Muslim Student Alliance, said she understands why the change would be needed.
Many Muslim women wear the headscarf or the hijab as a sign of modesty, and this is usually accompanied by long sleeves and long pants. And so having a women's only hours gives them an opportunity to dress more comfortably.
So is my working out really making all the women at the gym feel uncomfortable?
Lauren Mangili said that for some it might.
Women like to come and work out without feeling intimidated, which a lot of times they do. If there's guys working out in the same area, they don't want to feel like someone's watching them do their workout.
So will a change like the one at Harvard be something we should look out for at UNC?
I think it would be beneficial, especially for women that are intimidated going to the gym.
They don't need specific hours the same way that this gym doesn't have specific hours every week for guys.
I think the same opportunity should be available for men too.
With opinions divided, it's unclear whether such a change will ever occur on the UNC campus. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sam Johnson, Carolina Week.
There will be a women's-only workout night at Rams Head and a men's-only workout night at the SRC this Thursday. Student Congress is trying to make campaigning for student elections a little easier. Representative Val Tenyatkin introduced a bill that would allow candidates to make their campaigns public sooner. The change gives candidates 5 more days during which they can use campaign materials. In the past, candidates have violated campaign rules, partly because of confusion about the public and non-public periods. The new bill clearly states when candidates can begin to advertise their campaigns. The bill passed unanimously.
That's the intent behind the bill, is that we found that campaign procedures in the past have been extremely confusing, meddlesome, difficult to follow for the candidates. And so the intent of this is to give them one long period where they can publicly campaign with or without materials as soon as they're certified.
The Board of Elections certifies petitions for candidates to run 19 days before the election.
Have you ever wanted to watch a live event in LA, Tokyo, or New York? A new website has made it possible. LiveNewsCameras.com features more than 50 different channels of live streaming video. Viewers can click on thumbnails of channels including Fox, CBS, and C-SPAN to see live events, speeches, and news programs. A live moderator gives up-to-date information every few minutes to help viewers navigate the site easily. The site also includes live U.S. weather updates and storm tracking. The Carolina Women's Center is halfway through its 11th annual Women's Week celebration. During Monday's kickoff events, Chancellor James Measer recognized 3 women with university awards for the advancement of women. The 3 women, P.K. Lund, a professor and mentor in the School of Medicine, Melva Cookie Newsom, Director of Diversity Education in the Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs, and junior Emily Joy Rothschild, co-chair of the Women's Affairs Committee, received plaques and monetary awards for their efforts to improve the lives of women on campus. And we're joined now by weathercaster Corey Davis.
Corey, it has been absolutely gorgeous today.
That's right. You know, after a very cold start to the week, spring is making a comeback. Will we see 80 degrees by the weekend? I'll have your forecast next.
Hello, ladies.
Can you imagine your life without animals? Here at the Durham Animal Shelter, we can't. So come see us. Your new best friend is already expecting you.
Let's give it a shot. You can do it this time. I gotta get a real dog.
There is really only one boy, one girl, one tree, one forest, one ocean, one mountain, one sky, and one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, EarthShare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm forecaster Corey Davis, and as we take a look at our weather headlines today, I have some great news. It's finally time to dust off those short sleeves, tank tops, and flip-flops because it is going to be warm over the next few days. We will see the mercury rising and we'll see beautiful sunny skies that will make it gorgeous if you have outdoor plans. Unfortunately, you can't put those long sleeves up quite yet because we will see a cooler weekend as temperatures will drop below their seasonal averages. And along with that cool off, we'll see a chance of showers to start our weekend. Well, let's switch over and look at the national map, and you see it's mostly clear here across the southeast and really all the way up the eastern seaboard. There are a few scattered clouds, but nothing that's bringing any rain anywhere nearby here. And in fact, to see some rain, you have to head all the way back to the Midwest, where there are some rain showers beginning to organize over parts of Iowa and Missouri. If we take a look at the surface map, we see the reason for this organization. It's because of a cold front right now that's draped down through the northeast into our nation's heartland. And it looks fairly close to the Carolinas now, but fortunately it will stay away for the next few days. And we'll stay dry and actually will stay fairly warm. So why will we be so warm? Well, it has a lot to do with the jet stream as we take a look at that map. Now the jet stream is basically a narrow, high-speed band of wind several miles up in the atmosphere, and it affects our weather in several ways. One, it helps move weather systems across the country, and also it separates cold air in the north and warm air in the south. Now currently we're in a fairly normal jet stream pattern for this time of year, which explains the mild weather and seasonal temperatures that we saw today. However, as we head into Thursday, you'll see the jet stream takes a huge track up to the north over the east coast. That'll help bring more warm air from the south, which will bring us in the 70-degree range, which is the higher temperatures that we've seen in quite a while. And as we go into Friday, again, the jet stream will be fairly far north over New England, which will keep us warm, actually nearing 80 degrees for our high temperature. However, further back in the Midwest, you see the jet stream begins to push towards the south. And as it does so, it'll help push this rain-making system off to the east. And there's a chance if that system gets further south that it could bring us some rain on Friday night and into Saturday morning. So what does all this mean for our forecast? Well, let's take a look at our forecast for the weekend. First, if you're headed to Charlotte for the NCAA tournament game tomorrow night, you'll see Carolina and Washington State tipping off at Bobcats Arena a little before 7:30. And you'll have nice partly cloudy skies around 60 degrees by game time. If you're headed further west to the mountains, you'll see some nice weather in the 50s over the weekend with a chance of rain on Saturday. And on Sunday, you'll see temperatures around 56 with partly cloudy skies. At the beaches, the same thing. Some nice sunny weather with a chance of rain Saturday into Sunday, temperatures in the 60s, which will feel nice with an ocean breeze. And around our area, if you're headed here for the weekend, You'll see temperatures around the 70s, 72 Thursday, and 77 on Friday. Really beautiful weather. However, all good things must come to an end. We'll see that cool down overnight Friday into Saturday as we'll see some rain. But guys, it is going to be beautiful tomorrow and Friday. You know, spring just started last week, but it's going to feel more like summer.
It looks that way, and I'm really looking forward to being outside, maybe throwing a Frisbee around in the quad, something
Absolutely.
like that.
Sounds good. Corey, thanks a lot. Well, one group on campus wants to ask if you know how to get down. Zankiliwa is a dance troupe that incorporates African styles of movement. The name originates from Cameroon, and it means to dance enthusiastically or to get down. The troupe lives up to its name by showcasing traditional dance and modern hip-hop. Members are from Africa, America, and the Caribbean. Practice takes place in the Hinton James Recreation Room every week. Choreographer Emilio Rivera says Zankiliwa's mission is to educate others about one of the most important aspects of African life, dance.
We try to incorporate traditional and modern styles of dancing so people won't look at the stereotypes of African dance just looking at traditional or what they see on television. We kind of try to put it all together.
Troupe members come to practice to learn new moves and perfect their fancy footwork. Zankiliwa wrapped up the semester with its last performance this past Saturday.
Well, Adam, I hate to say this, but I really think you should stay away from the Zankiliwa.
Well, you know, Walter Sorrell's here with a look at sports. I might be getting down on Franklin Street, Walter, if Carolina does well in the NCAA tournament this weekend.
So I think what you're hinting at is to not be on Franklin Street this weekend to avoid seeing you get down.
Might be a safe move.
Coming up in sports, both the men's team and women's basketball teams are headed to the Sweet 16. We'll show you last night's sweet send-off for the boys.
So I was just thinking, just trim the ends just a little
I got it from here, Monsieur Salon type guy. Hey, today everybody is Pixie Cut Day. We're gonna take it real short and then we're gonna dye it jet black. The look that says, I scribble dark lyrics in my journal.
No, Pixie Cut.
It just says, I've got issues.
I don't have issues.
Well, you will after this haircut. Pixie Cut it is.
I don't want a Pixie Cut.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
It's springtime in the forest of the black-tailed deer. The young male is feeling playful. It's time for tag. The female flicks her ears. Her way of saying, catch me if you can.
The men's basketball team is hot, hot, hot. The Heels massacred the Arkansas Razorbacks in the second round of the NCAA tournament, sending them to the Sweet 16. In the first round of the tournament, UNC breezed past Mount St. Mary's 113-74. In the second game tie, dropping two more. The guy's just filthy, not to be outdone. Rainin Wayne owning the perimeter and the paint. He had 20 for the day, and the Heels shot 67% from the field. Danny Green showing off some skill here. The duo would hook up two more times. Dunks, slams, jams, blocks, and some guy named Psycho T all came together to blast the Heels past the Razorbacks. The boys in blue square off against the Washington State Cougars this Thursday. The Heels move on to the Charlotte Bobcats Arena for that game, hoping to keep up the torrid pace. The Heels have scored more than 100 points in each of their first two tournament games. If the team wins Thursday, Carolina will face Louisville or Tennessee in the Elite Eight on Saturday. After cruising through the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament, the Heels received a special send-off as they headed to Charlotte. The Tar Heel faithful gathered in the Dean Dome yesterday to give Roy's boys a first-class going-away celebration. More than 100 Carolina fans waited in the Smith Center parking lot with signs and balloons as the team made its way to the bus. After a few minutes of meeting and greeting, Coach Roy Williams and the players boarded the bus and were on their way to Charlotte. The women's team is also heading on to the Sweet 16. Rashana McCants led the ladies with 23 points against Georgia. Arlena Larkins added another 18. The Bulldogs played a sloppy game with 24 turnovers and two players fouled out. Carolina cruised to an 80-66 victory. The women are headed to New Orleans to face Louisville. If they win, the Heels will face LSU or Louisville. Carolina is hoping the town isn't the only Big Easy as the Heels try to make their third straight Final Four. And the number 3 ranked Tar Heel baseball team is on a roll. Carolina gave Davidson Wildcats a vicious spanking yesterday. Working the mojo early, the Heels blasted into the game with a 5-0 lead by the second inning and never looked back. Here's UNC's Chad Flack working with some serious aluminum as he belts a monster double into left. He had a pair on the night. Blistering pitching sent the Cats packing for the walk of shame several times. The Heels also turned in some old solid defensive play and cruised past the Cats for a 12-6 victory. And the Carolina women's softball team blew out Elon yesterday 7-0. Junior right-hander Lisa Norris carried the Heels, striking out a career-high 16 batters. Carolina's reigning ACC Player of the Week, Danielle Spalding, hit a 3-run homer in the fifth, helping the women cruise to the victory. And most Tar Heels will be focused on the Final Four on April 5th, but the football team is gearing up for its annual spring game that day. Players are already back into the swing of things because spring practices started in early March. Butch Davis emphasized conditioning through the early practices, and the big headline heading into the spring game is the three-way battle for the quarterback spot. There's also a lot of eyes on Greg Little to see how he'll do at running back. The game is in Kenan Stadium and is open to the public. Tell you what, Adam, if the Tar Heels win the national championship, I think I might have to do the Zankiliwa dance for you.
You know, I don't know if we really want to see that, but I like a Final Four, so I'll put up with it.
We'll see what happens and keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Walter. Well, it's not often we hear about quiet rock and roll.
But coming up, we'll show you an exhibit that silently pays tribute to some local musicians.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
One campus institution is honoring Chapel Hill's rock culture.
And it's a place normally much more concerned with academic pursuits. Robert Jessup has the story.
On Monday, Wilson Library opened one of its more unusual exhibits. The Center on Southern Culture replaced some of the library's classic pieces of art with this: local band posters to pay homage to Chapel Hill's folk rock scene. Assistant curator Jamie Vermillion says the owner of the Cat's Cradle gave the staff this advice in deciding which posters rock.
His quote was, you can see it in the kiosk from all the way down the street, and it has the name of the band, the date of the show, and the place where it's going to be.
Lead singer of the High and Mighties, Mark Belk, had a slightly different point of view.
Sex sells. If you see a poster with, if it's a show shot and there's some hot girls up front, that always helps. And then a logo that tries to catch people's eye.
This project is a part of a broad initiative to get more undergraduates to walk up the steps of Wilson Library.
The show is just sort of designed by our curator, Steve Weiss, to showcase these unique collections that aren't in, that sort of show people that we don't have just sort of the typical library.
The 30 posters in the exhibit were created by famous Chapel Hill artists Casey Burns and Ron Liberty. They feature 15 years of history in West Franklin's music scene. If you'd like to see them, they'll be on display in the manuscripts department until May 31st. In Wilson Library, I'm Robert Jessup, Carolina Week.
I had no idea there was such a huge rock and roll population like underground in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, and those band posters are always fun to look at, so I might have to take a trip over to Wilson Library to check them out.
Very interesting exhibit. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.